Let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the JSE. The local bourse starting off the week on a solid footing. Of course, we will be gauging the health of the South African economy today, with GDP data coming out tomorrow for the second quarter, and also manufacturing and mining data coming out on Thursday. So ahead of that, the all share with a bounce in its step of over 1%. That being led by the Resources 10 complex that's climbed over 2%. We do have the Financial 15 eking out a gain of more than 1%, and the Industrial 25 ticking up by 0.15%. Let's check in on what is happening in the U.S. markets. Of course, we are getting closer and closer to the Fed's September meeting. And ahead of that, of course, investors still digesting the non-farm payrolls for August that came out on Friday, seeing some softness there with growth coming out less than what markets had expected. Of course, we are also expecting inflation data, so we will be sifting through that later on in the week. But those markets also in positive territory, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq leading in those gains, climbing more than 0.75%. We do have the S&P 500 also following in the same direction, with an uptick of almost 0.4%, and the Dow popping by almost 1/5%. Let's take a look at what is happening with the markets across the Atlantic, and of course political news there, with all eyes on the French government's confidence vote, where the Prime Minister's position could be at risk. That happening today, but those markets are also feeling a spring in their step. FTSE 100 up by 0.16%, the CAC 40 eking out a gain of more than 0.8%, and the DAX with a gain just shy of 1%. Let's take a look at the currency scene and start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. A nice picture that we are seeing on the local unit at 17 rand against the greenback, against the pound at 23 rand 70, and against the euro at 20 rand 57. Let's take a look at what is happening with the other currency pairs, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.17, pound dollar at 1.32, and the yen just below 147 against the US dollar.